In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a personal portfolio website step by step. I'm going to show you how to design the entire site, and I'll leave a template file in the description so you can download it afterwards. I'm also going to give you a huge discount on your web hosting. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video on Create a Pro Website. My name is Levi Hagan, and I'll be walking you through this tutorial step by step. Here at Create a Pro Website, we're dedicated to showing you how to build your own website and how to start making money online with our free in-depth tutorials. If you're new to the channel, check out the rest of the videos to see what I'm talking about. We show you how to build complete online stores from start to finish. We show you how to build affiliate marketing websites as well as portfolio sites like the one we're going to build today. Let's take a look at the website we're going to be building today. We're going to start with a beautiful hero section and some great looking motion effects. Scroll through with a quick value proposition, just saying what we specialize in. We'll include an About Me section, a featured video section, a filterable gallery with multiple photo shoots, an Instagram feed, and a contact form at the bottom so that your clients can get in contact with you right away via email. Now, this video is aimed towards the absolute beginner of web design. If you've never created a website before, rest easy. We're going to be making the entire website using a super easy to use drag and drop page builder, so you don't need any previous experience or knowledge of coding. During this tutorial, you can use the right and left arrow keys to go forward or backwards by 5 seconds. I also put timestamps of the video down in the description so you can skip ahead or go back to any of the steps at any time. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started with step number 1, which is to go ahead and get a domain name and web hosting. Now, a domain name is just the address to your website. It's what people will enter into the search bar to find your site. So something like yourwebsite.com. And web hosting is just renting space on a server somewhere that's connected to the internet so that you can store all of your media and files on a website. There are web hosting companies that have buildings full of these servers, and they also offer you 24/7 support in case anything happens to your website. If you want to own your own website and have a custom domain name for it, then you have to purchase your own web hosting, which I'll show you how to do in this tutorial, and I'll give you a massive discount for it as well. Yes, you can get a free website, but it comes with a lot of limitations as well. Like, you don't actually own your domain name. It'll be something like yourwebsite.wix.com or squarespace.com or whoever's hosting the website. You also can't upload new themes in order to customize your website exactly the way you want. You can't upload plugins to increase the functionality of your website. You can't monetize your website with ads in order to make money from it. And your website could be deleted at any time because you don't technically own it. So for these reasons, I recommend hosting because it places you in control. So, in order to get your domain and hosting, just click on the very first link in the description or go to createaprowebsite.com/hosting. And it'll take you to a page that looks like this. Now, by clicking on the affiliate link, which I receive a commission from, you'll receive that massive discount that I'm talking about for your web hosting. So I strongly recommend it. So right off the bat, you guys see that we've got 3 plans in front of us. We've got the hatchling plan, the baby plan, and the business plan. So the hatchling plan is the cheapest one, of course. It's the smallest one. You get a single domain name, one-click installs, unmetered bandwidth, free SSL certificate. Now, you get most of this with pretty much everything else, but the hatchling plan is, of course, the most basic. And right now, you're getting up to 61% off, so it starts at like $271 a month, so it's pretty nice. And then you've got the baby plan and the business plan. I really only recommend the baby plan and the business plan only after your website starts to kind of make money and take off. I mean, of course, if that's what you're trying to do with it. But these two are, of course, a little bit more expensive, and you get unlimited domain names. So if you plan on getting multiple websites or anything like that, you can always upgrade later. So for now, if this is your first website, I would recommend just starting with the hatchling plan. So that's what I'm going to do for this tutorial. I'm going to go ahead and click on Buy Now right here. All right, and then right off the top, we've got your enter your domain name right here. So you get to actually search your very own custom one. If you already have a domain name, you'll just go to this tab right here. But for this tutorial, I'm just going to create a new one. And so we can try something like just like that. Click outside of the search bar. Perfect. And when the search bar highlights green like this, you know that your domain is available and ready to go. So we're good. If it does highlight red, it'll tell you that it's been taken, and then you'll have to search some other variations. So instead of create a pro portfolio, I might do create a pro portfolio LH for Levi Hagan, just because that's my name. You can always just try random stuff. And then right over here, you've actually got 2 different places where you can choose it. You can come over here and choose .com, .line, .space, all that stuff. Or you can come down here and see all of their different options, and you'll see that they have a bunch. I mean, .tech, .space, .me, .info, all that. Now, I recommend going with .com just because it's the most common for people to search whenever they're looking for a website. And then also, it's just one of the more professional looking ones anyways. So I'm going to stick with a .com, and I recommend you do the same. All right, so let's go ahead and scroll on down here. And then before we get to number 2, this is pretty important right here, the domain privacy protection. I strongly recommend you getting the domain privacy protection for the additional $14.95 billed annually. So this is billed as well as your domain name price, which is billed annually. And so what the privacy protection does is it protects your personal information like your phone number and email from solicitors and telemarketers who are going to try and market different services that they can provide for you for your website. And so it gets kind of frustrating when you have a bunch of people calling you all the time. I mean, it happened like 5 times a day for me. And so it got kind of annoying, to be honest. And so I would recommend just making sure that this box is checked for your domain name. Now, of course, this is completely optional. So if you don't want to pay the additional $14, you can. But I definitely recommend that one. So that's why it's important for me. All right, so number 2, we've got choose a hosting plan. And so this is the exact same as what we just did before we came to this page. We chose between the Hatchling, Baby, or Business plan. And so it just gives you another option to switch over just in case, you're indecisive. But I'm going to leave it on the Hatchling plan. Now, this is also kind of important, the billing cycle. And so you actually get to pick if you want to pay 1 month or if you want to pay for all 36 months. Now, whatever you choose in here, you're paying for upfront. And so it's going to tell you 36 months upfront. And so it'll come out to $271 per month is kind of the average. But for instance, if I select this and go down to the bottom, it's $170 right now because I'm paying for all 36 months upfront. And so I'm going to go ahead and choose the first month because I just want to pay for 1 month total upfront. Now, of course, the longer you go, the more of a discount you receive. So this averages to 61% off, so $271. And then this is 30% off because I'm only going with 1 month. So the longer you commit, the more of a discount you get. One thing that I also want to point out is to pay for your domain name, you're billed annually. So the web hosting, which is this part, you could also go for annual if you wanted to make them kind of like level out, but I'm just going to go with the 1 month. Just kind of wanted to explain that for you guys. Okay. So number 3, we've got create your HostGator account. You're basically just creating an account with HostGator. This is very simple. So I'll see you guys in just a second. I'm going to type out my email address, password, and create an account real quick. All right, guys, so I went ahead and just typed in my email, created a password, and also a security pin, which is super duper secret, so that's why it's blurred out. Go ahead and move on to number 4. So we've got enter in your billing information. And so this right here is just going to be very standard, just enter in your very personal information for your banking. You've got 2 different payment types. You've got the credit card and PayPal. And so I'm just going to enter in my credit card information right now. So I'll see you guys in a second. All right, guys, welcome back. Went ahead and entered in my billing information, and I hope you did the same. Let's go ahead and scroll on down to number 5. So the additional services section. So what I'm going to do is something a little strange. I'm actually going to uncheck the Site Lock Essentials and the Site Backup, or Backup Your Hard Work part. So I'm going to uncheck both of these. I've got videos on the channel that show you how to do both of these for free. So I would recommend you do the same, uncheck these, and then go check out those videos, and that way you can save yourself the $2 a month and the $2.99 a month, or the $23 and $23 annually. So I'll show you guys how to do those in different videos. I'm going to go ahead and scroll on down. All right, so number 6, enter a coupon code. Just make sure that your coupon code looks just like this, which if you went to the link that I have in the description or typed in createaprowebsite.com/hosting, it would already enter this in for you. But this is really important so that you get your discount. So, all right, number 7 is to review your order details. So we've got the domain registration for 1 year, which is billed annually. And so that went from $17.99 down to $4.99. So there's that huge discount I was talking about with my coupon code right here, the affiliate link. And then we've got the Hatchling plan for 1 month, which goes from $10.95 down to $7.95. And then we've got our hosting add-ons, which is that domain privacy protection for the $14.95 billed annually. And so our total comes out to $29.10, which is not bad for your first website, if this is your first time. All right, so we're just going to agree to the terms of service and click checkout now. All right, so now HostGator is just going to set up your account. It's going to take a few minutes, so I'll see you in just a second. Perfect. Once HostGator finishes setting up your account, you're going to be seeing something that looks like this. Tell us a bit about your goals. I'm just going to go ahead and skip out of that. And also close that guy there. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and skip all of this and go straight down the bottom and say skip building for now. I just want to go to my hosting dashboard. Perfect. So now we are in our HostGator dashboard, so you can always log in if you need to. So now that we're in HostGator's dashboard, we can go ahead and move on to step number 2, which is to install WordPress. So in order to install WordPress, HostGator makes it really easy. All you got to do is just go right over here to the control panel and click on Install WordPress. And then from here, go ahead and click on Install Now. All right, so for the WordPress installation, it's pretty easy, kind of similar to what we just did for the HostGator. It's not too much, so we'll get through this together. So first you got to choose the correct version of WordPress that you want to install, which it's 5.7 is the newest, as you can see, and it's already selected, so we're good to go. And then choose the installation URL. If this is your first time building a website, it's automatically right here. If you do have multiple websites with HostGator, you can click on the drop down and just make sure that you're selecting the domain that you're creating today. All right, scroll down just a little bit more and we've got the site settings. Now we've got site name and site description. And so we're gonna go ahead and change these right here. Let me go ahead and just show you guys, if I were to search HostGator. So just so you guys know, this right here is the site title. And then this right here is the site description. And so what we're about to type in right here is what's going to actually show up when people search our website right here. So you've got the site title, site description. So let's go ahead and do that now. So for the site name, I'm going to say create a pro portfolio, which is the name of the website that I'm doing right now. And then for this, we can just say something like that. But you might want to do something a little bit more than that. Just an example for now. And then go ahead and scroll on down to the next one, which is the admin account. This is very, very important, the admin account. If you don't remember anything for the rest of this video, make sure you remember this part. The admin username and the admin password, this is what we're going to use to log into our website to edit it and change it every single time. So let's make sure we get this right. For the username, I'm just going to go ahead and make it simple. I'm just going to say Levi, which is my name. But of course, you can make the username whatever you want. And then for the admin password, I'm going to go ahead and hide it and type in my own password, and you get to choose whatever password you want. Just make sure you remember it. Perfect. And then for the admin email, this is also just as important. This is the email that most of the notifications for your website are going to go, and you're also going to be using this all the time. So let's go ahead and make sure we remember this one as well. I'm going to go ahead and change this to the email that I created for this tutorial, but what you guys would do is put in the business email for the business that you're creating. So if this is a personal portfolio, maybe you have a business email, so it would be like levihagenportfolio.com or something like that, or at gmail.com. And so you want to use whatever you want all the notifications to go to. Perfect. So my email is in there and good to go. And move on down, and we've got choose a language, and so you get to select a different language. I'm going to stick with English because I speak English, so we're going to leave that there. Okay, and so now we've got select plugins, advanced options, and select a theme. I'm going to show you guys later on in the video how to select your own theme and how to select the correct plugins and everything. And I'm going to explain it as we go, so don't worry. But I'm going to go ahead and skip this part. So scroll on down and say install right here. And so WordPress is installing. It's going to take a few minutes, so just give it a second. Perfect. So now you can see, congratulations, the software has successfully been installed. Now we also have this important part right here, the administrative URL. Every single time that you want to edit your website, you're going to be having to go to this URL. Now it's really easy to remember. You just got createaproportfolio.com, which is the domain name that you just created, /wp-admin. So that's all you got to remember is WP for WordPress-admin because you're the admin. Now, if you can't remember it, which is totally fine, you can always just open it up on a new tab and then just create a bookmark for it. Let me close out of that. And so you just create a bookmark right here. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and actually go up to it on a new tab. Perfect. So mine says your connection isn't private. Now, if it says anything like this, your connection isn't private, or this page doesn't exist, or 404 error, or anything like that, all that means is that your site needs to be propagated first. And so what propagation is HostGator right here is going to be taking the new domain name that you just purchased, and they're going to send it out to every single server in the world that's connected to the internet to let everybody know that you just purchased this domain name and that it's live. That process can take anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. Sometimes it can only take a few minutes, but it never should go more than a day. So all you have to do is just keep coming back to this page and clicking refresh over and over until you see that login screen that looks like this. And this is the WordPress login for the back end of your website. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my username that I typed in back in HostGator and my password. And just like that, ta-da, we're in the back end of our website and we are on WordPress's dashboard. So we're ready to go. All right, so now that we're on the dashboard for WordPress, we can go ahead and move on to step number 3, which is to download themes. So in order to download a theme, I'm going to go over to the Appearance tab right over here and go over to Themes. I'm going to go ahead and open it up on a new tab just because I always like having a dashboard that I can go back to. All right, and so from here you can see that the active theme is 2021, and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what that looks like. The way you do that is you just go up to your site name in the top left corner and you can click on Visit Site, or just click on the actual site name itself. I don't know why there's two different ones, but they do that. I'm going to go ahead and open it up on a new tab. And so this is what our website looks like so far. It's very boring, just like a mint green with black text, and that's it. But that's what the theme does. So I'm going to go ahead and take it from the 2021 normal WordPress theme to one that's called Astra. So I'm going to go over to the Add New Themes button right here. And then in the search bar right up here, I'm going to search Astra. Now, obviously, it's right there, so I'm just going to click on it. And then here we are, Astra. Now, one thing that I wanted to let you guys know, and if I were to clear this out, but don't ever pick a theme based on the template or image or anything like that, or like the background images or demos. You really want to pick a theme based on its back-end capabilities and also just kind of based on what you're using it for. And if you're interested in learning more about themes, I've got a video about that. It's the top 5 themes and how to choose one. And so you guys can check that out on the channel. But we're going to use Astra. And so it's right here. So we're just going to go ahead and click on install and activate. Perfect. And so now that we have our theme installed, let me go ahead and show you guys what that looks like now. I'm just going to open the site up on a new tab again. Boom. So it completely changed the website, different fonts, different colors, and now we've got like this boxed kind of theme instead of it just being full page. Of course, it's far from being done. There's nothing in here. That's why it's just a bunch of default stuff. But I just wanted to show you how a theme can completely change the look of your website entirely. And that's what a theme is for. It's for customizing text, fonts, colors, a whole bunch of stuff for your website. So they're pretty useful. So now that we've got Astra installed, we are good to go. We can go ahead and move on to step number 4, which is to install our plugins. So in order to install the plugins, I'm going to go ahead and close out of this tab, go back to my dashboard, and I'm going to go down to the plugins tab. Hover over it, and then I'm going to click on Add New. Open that one on a new tab. All right, and so now that we are in the Add New Plugins tab, we can go ahead and begin to just search the plugins. So the first one I'm going to search is called Elementor, which is right here. And so Elementor is that super easy to use drag and drop page builder that I mentioned in the introduction. It's incredibly easy to use, and it's also my personal favorite page builder out of all of them. So I use this one the most. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Install Now and Activate. Cool. And so you'll notice that every time we install a new plugin, it's going to take us away from the Add Plugins tab. So we're just going to go right back. And we're going to repeat that process like 3 more times. So now I'm going to search Elementor again. And this time, I'm going to take this third-party Elementor plugin. So it's called Essential Add-ons by Elementor, and so, or for Elementor, excuse me. And so what this does is it just adds 40 additional free elements that you can use, like widgets, in Elementor. And so it's very useful. So I'm going to click Install Now and Activate. And so you'll see me mention EA or Essential Add-ons quite frequently, and that just means that extra plugin. So let's go back to the Plugins tab, click on Add New. We're going to go over to the search bar, and this time we're going to search something called Smash Balloon. All right. And so you'll see right here, Smash Balloon's social photo feed, and then you've got a post feed and a whole bunch of other stuff. We're going to take this photo feed right here. It's a Instagram feed, as you can see, because I'm going to show you guys how to actually put in your Instagram account live into your website that constantly updates. So if you post a new picture on Instagram, your website will show the new page. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Install Now. Before I click Activate, though, I wanted to show you one thing before it takes me away from this page, because you know it always does. You can always see right here in the bottom left corner how many active installations, how many people have installed it on their websites. So we've got over 1 million active installations, 5-star rating, 3,331 actual ratings of this. So people rated this 5 stars or whatever, or not 5 stars, but different ratings. And so this is a really trusted plugin. And so if you're ever curious about it, you guys can always, scroll through here and see that this is 4 stars. Most of these are 5 stars here. And so very trusted plugin. So let's just click Activate. All right, go back to Plugins and click on Add New. And we're going to search WP Forms. And there it is right there. All right. And so WP Forms, you would just click on Install and then click on Activate, but it looks like I already have it on here, so we are good to go. And we're going to search one last plugin called Starter Templates. Perfect. And so it's right here, Starter Templates for Elementor, Beaver Builder, Gutenberg, just a bunch of page builders right there. And it's for Astra right there, Ocean WP, and a lot more themes. And so we've got Astra, so we can use this one. I'm going to click Install Now, Activate. All right, and then this is the only one that I'm actually going to continue with. For Starter Templates, it's going to ask you which page builder you're using, so we'll just say Elementor. And it takes you straight into the starter templates right here. And so actually, while we're here, we can go ahead and move on to step number 5, which is to select a template. And so if it didn't automatically take you here, you can always hover over the Appearance tab and go down to Starter Templates. But when I downloaded the plugin, it went ahead and automatically took me inside. And so you'll have to select Elementor as your page builder because that's what we're using. And then you'll be able to see all of these different templates in front of you. Now, I really like using the Astra theme because it comes with the Starter Templates plugin. And so this one comes with over 70 templates. And out of those 70, I believe there was like 20 or 30 of them are free. And so it gives you a lot of different options so that it'll save you some time. And so we're going to be using one of these templates as well. Now, as you can see, we've got the free versions, which are right here. And then you can click on it and you can scroll through the template and see what it looks like. And so this template is actually a complete site. It's not just one page. So you have 4 pages. We've got an about page. And so this is what it looks like. A services page, contact page, as you can see. And all of this would automatically be downloaded. Now, we're not going to use this one. I just wanted to show you. Now, whatever you're highlighted over, like the homepage right now, I can say import the homepage or the entire site. So we're going to do that in just a second. I'm going to click the back button, as well as the agency version right here. So if you click on this one, you'll see that you actually have to get the agency bundle. This is just the pro version of the Astra theme or the starter templates, and so you have to pay to get these. But again, we're just going to be sticking to the free version. So we can go to the All tab right here, and you can also select different types of websites. So if you want only e-commerce websites, these are online stores that you can install templates for. And so you can sell products and stuff like that. If you want a blog or something like that, we're just going to stick to all. And then you can also select if you want all free or only the pro versions, which are agency. But I'm going to go ahead and click on free. And then we can go ahead and scroll on through here and check out a whole bunch of different themes. The one that I really like is this one right here. It's the vlogger theme. And so I'm going to pick this one. And so we can do a quick scroll through. I think it looks pretty cool. Lots of big text and everything, so it's pretty fancy. So I'm going to use this one. And so it only has one page, which makes this even easier because I'm only going to show you guys how to create one page. If you guys want multi-page websites, I do have other videos on the channel that'll show you guys how to do those. But for now, we'll just stick to one page. So let's go ahead and import the complete site. You could just click on import home template, but it's pretty much the same thing because there's only one page. And so now the website's being imported. I'll see you guys in just a second. All right, hooray, the website has successfully been imported. So we can go ahead and click on View Site, but I'm not going to take the easy route. I'm just going to go up here and open it on a new tab. Not that that's any harder, just being fun. Okay, so now we can take a look at the template that we just downloaded. And so it's fully imported. We've got this cool header hero section. We've got like value propositions, like what we can expect, an about me part, a vlog section, a gear section, and then also a contact section, which it looks like the contact form is missing, but I'm going to show you guys how to do that as well. So go all the way back to the top, and then we've also got, it looks like, some menu options up here, and because this is one page, I'm going to assume that these will take me to the specific spots. Yes. Okay. So the About Me takes me to the About Me section. Let's see. The Get in Touch is probably the contact section. It'll take me automatically to the I love to collaborate. Let's send me a message part. So that's pretty cool. And then Let's Talk is the exact same thing. A little redundant, but we'll go ahead and fix that later. And so we'll be editing the page in just a little bit, but first, now that we have our actual template downloaded, I'm going to close out of this tab, and we're going to go ahead and move on to step number 6, which is to edit your header, footer, and logos. All right, so we're going to be editing the header, footer, and logos, and before I even do that, I also want to show you guys how to create a specific color theme for your website. So what I do is I go to a new tab and I type in coolors.co, coolors.co. And so this is an actual color generator. And so it basically just makes a palette for you, which is really helpful. So I'm going to click on Start the Generator. And so what you do, it's really easy. Just click spacebar and it's going to randomize a bunch of colors that look good together. So as I click spacebar, it's going to give a bunch of just random colors, right? And so another thing you can do is you can go over here and you can change the shade. So if you like this green, but you want it just a little bit darker, you can do that. And then you can lock it. And so now that I've locked this one, all of these are going to change except for this one. So I hit spacebar and now these change and I can keep this one. And then I can keep locking as I go. So I'll lock this one. Let's just say I really like these colors, which I don't, but whatever. And then now if I hit spacebar with all locked, they're not going to do anything. So this is a really good way to choose the different colors that you're going to use. Okay, and so now after you choose these colors, what you can do is go up to the export button right here, and then you can export it as a PDF so you can save the document. So you click on this guy, create a title and just call it something, and then click on export. Now, I already have this exported on my computer for the colors that I want to use, so I'm going to show that to you guys right now. And so the document that you download after you click on export is going to look like this. And so I chose to use black, green, white, a light gray, and a little bit more of like a bluish darker gray. So this is the color palette that I'm going to be using while we build the website. So now that we have that color palette, we can go ahead and close on this tab and go over to the Appearance tab and click on Customize. So now we're going to start working on the header. Perfect. So now that we're in the Customize tab, this is the theme of Astra's Customize tab. So this is different from Elementor. Remember, if we go back in the video, you'll remember that we downloaded Astra as a theme and Elementor as a plugin. Elementor is the page builder, and so that's how we'll be editing the meat of the website, all of this stuff in here. And then for Astra, we're going to use this to build the header and also the footer. And so that means this part up here, which that's why it's highlighting blue when I hover over it, and then also the footer down here, which it's a very simple footer, and I actually like it that way, but we'll scroll up to the top. So let's mess with the header first. First of all, if you ever hover over, you can always hover over whatever you want to edit, and then click on the little blue pencil icon, and it'll take you straight to the settings. Now you'll see if I back out, we came from primary menu to header, and then all the way back out to the main menu right here. So that's kind of a useful thing if I want to go to the logo edit. Click on that little pencil, takes me straight to the logo. And so that's pretty useful. Or if I want to edit this button right here, which is a widget, it'll also take me to the header section. And then I can also click on the header itself and edit the bar, which is pretty cool. Now, I'm going to be showing you guys where to go just so that you guys get familiar with this backend right here rather than just clicking on those blue pencil icons. But I just wanted to show you that you could if you wanted to. So first thing we're going to do is edit the header. So to do that, we'll go over to the header builder. All right. And then for the Astra header builder, you've got this top row up here, the middle row right here, and the bottom row right here. And so as you can see, we only have widgets, these boxes here, in the middle row. And so that's the only one that's visible. If I were to move the logo to the top row, just by dragging and dropping it, now you can see that we've got multiple rows. But if nothing's in it, it just stays invisible and disappears. So now I've got the top row, middle row, and bottom row is non-existent because nothing is down here. So I'm going to go ahead and drag the logo just by dragging and dropping and putting it right back into the middle. And so you can see that now it's all in line, which I think is good. This is useful, for instance, if you wanted to put like the logo right here in the center, and then maybe you have the menu on this side. So if we put the button over here, for instance, and then I were to click up here and then add another widget like social icons or something like that. And then maybe I want my primary menu to actually be down here below. I can go ahead and click on publish just to save my work. Now you can see that my logo's in the center. I've got this down here, a button over here, and then these social icons up on top, which are kind of hard to see. But you don't have to follow along for that part. I just wanted to quickly show you that you can have like a multi-level header if you wanted to. So the capability is endless. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and take it right back to the way it was. So the button goes over here. Primary menu was in front of it. And then my logo was on this side. Perfect. So now it's back to where it is, and we can go ahead and continue to follow along with me. So the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and edit this primary menu right here. So let's go ahead and click on publish to save my work. Just in case you guys did follow along with me, I want to make sure that you click publish so that now that it's back to normal right here, it's good to go. But if you didn't follow along while I messed the header up there, that's good. So let's go back. We'll go down to menus. And so this is a menu right here. So we're going to go down to menus, and you can see that primary menu came with the template that we downloaded. If there wasn't a menu here, you can always just click create new menu, type in a random name, and then say where you want it, and then just click next. And now we've got a menu that we can add items to, blah, blah, blah. And then if you go back to menus, you'll see it right here. So you can have multiple menus, but I'm just going to go in and click on delete menu. And again, you didn't have to follow that part. I'm just showing you guys that you can create multiple menus if you want to. So we're going to go ahead and edit the primary menu right here. And so that's the one that's being used up here. So we click on it, and we can see all of the options that are in here right now. If we ever want to change the order, like for instance, I want About Me to be after the vlog, I can click on Vlog and drag it up. And now Vlog is in front of About Me. And so this is just the order. If I ever want to have one of those sub-menus where you hover over it and then you've got multiple drop-downs, you can take Vlog and put it under Home just by dragging over just like this. So if you see that dotted line behind it, that's in line. That's kind of indented. Leave it there. And so now the home button, I can hover over it and you'd see vlog right here, but it looks like the text color is white and the background is white, so that's why you can't see it. But that's a good example for you guys. So I'm going to drag it back out and put it right here. So let's go ahead and change these right now. I like the home button and I like the about me button. So that takes you to the about section. Now I'm going to change the vlog section to be a video section. So let's go ahead and click on vlog and I can change the label to video. I'm going to say videos. And then the URL. So right here you could put, something like www.blah.com, right? A URL. And so this is where that button is going to take them. So you click on this button and it takes them to the URL right here. But if you put in a hashtag or a number sign, a pound sign, that is a placeholder. So now this is going to do nothing. So if I click on the videos button. So if I click on the videos button, it's not going to take you anywhere. Now, if I take the placeholder and then I also type in a word like videos, I basically just told this button that wherever I put the word lowercase v videos, wherever I put it in the CSS coding, which I'll show you guys how to do later, don't worry, and it's not hard at all. Wherever I do that, now when I click on this button, it'll take them straight to that video hashtag, right? And so for instance, this about me section has a hashtag about. And so if I were to click on the about button over here, you'll see hashtag about me. Okay, so they did about dash me. And so that's how the template was built. So again, I'll show you guys later on when we customize the website how to make sure that the section is labeled by that hashtag so it'll take them to it. But for now, we're just going to set up the menu. So the about me is fine. Videos says videos and the name is videos. It's always easy to just make this what it is. So if it's a photo section, say photo. You know what I mean? So that's good to go there. Close that one. For gears, I'm going to go ahead and change this one to be photos. Or you could change this to gallery or photo gallery, whatever you want it to be, but I just want photos. And I'll change that to hashtag photos. The last one I'm going to change from get in touch. I'm going to change it to Instagram feed. All right. And then I'll change this to Instagram. Perfect. So now we've got a home, about me, videos, photos, Instagram, and then the let's talk button. We have to edit that one as well, but that's separate from the menu. Okay. So now we've got all of our buttons here. I also wanted to show you another thing. If you ever wanted to edit your menu, you can make these buttons do whatever you want. All you got to do is go to add items, and then you can, let me close the pages tab right there. So you can choose from anything. You can make them custom links and then just type in the URL, or do it in the same place that I did it, which was right here, right? But you can click on the custom link. You can choose from pages. So right now I've got a home page. If you created a multi-page website, you could just pick a page, like sample page, and then have that button take them to a different page of your website. You can do posts, like blog posts, landing pages, categories, if you had products, like an e-commerce store, tags, formats, anything. So that's how you would do it. But for now, again, just follow along with me. We're just going to have hashtag buttons that take them to different parts of the same page. This is just a basic portfolio page. Okay, so now that we've edited the menu, we can click publish to save our work. And now we can go back up to the header. So we'll go to header builder. So I've got my header menu, my button, and a logo. Okay, now you can also edit the actual design of the header as well. And so let's go ahead and do that for the menu first. So now we've got the general, we can change the width, fade, and stuff like that, but I'm gonna leave all that. You can go to the design tab and you can change the hover style, which I want it to zoom in. And so now when I hover, it makes it bigger. See how it zooms in like that? I like that. I think that's pretty cool. Okay, and so now I want to go ahead and add some color to these now that we've done like the whole zoom in animation. So to do that, instead of going to the primary menu and then going to the design tab, what I want to do is go to the transparent header, because this is a transparent header. It's enabled right now. If you disabled that, you could just change it here. But for the transparent header, I can go to the design tab and then right here, menu color, I'm going to go ahead and change the text and everything. So the normal color is a light gray, and that's why these are kind of light gray. And then the active color is why it's bright white like this anytime I hover over it. So let's go ahead and change that now. The normal color, I don't mind. I think that's just fine like that. And then the active hover color, I'm actually going to change to be the green that we have from our color palette that we opened up earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this right here. So Control or Command C. And then I'm going to go ahead and paste it right here. Controller Command V. And then just like that, now you can see that the green is going to be whatever I hover over, and it's also whatever page is active. So I'm on the home page, that's why it's there. Now this is a single page website, so that's why you're never going to see anything other than the home page active. If you had multiple pages and then you clicked on the About page, you would see that this one would be green without having to hover over it, just like the home page is now. So that's why that's that. And then you can also change the background color if you want to. And so for instance, if I wanted red, but I think that looks terrible. So I'm going to reset that and just leave it as a transparent background. So let's go ahead and edit the button next. So publish to save our work. And then we'll go to the back button here and we'll go click on the button. So on the button, we can go to the design tab and we can change the actual colors here. So right now the text color goes from white to black. And so when I hover over it, the text color is black. And then the background goes from transparent to white. So transparent to white. So let's go ahead and change that now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say I want the background color to be transparent at the beginning. And then afterwards, I want it to be black, like that. And then for the text color, I want it to start out as green. So I'm going to paste the same hex code that's still on my clipboard. And then after that, I want it to be able to be green when I hover over it. So I'm going to do it again, just like that. And so now for the border radius right here, the border color, I'm going to change it from white to green. So paste that again. And then I can leave it as transparent right there. So let's go ahead and click on Publish to save our work. So now anytime I hover over the button, it gets black, and it looks like actually the transparent on the border color for the hover is not working. So let's go ahead and just change that to black, just like that. So now when I hover, it makes it an all black button, and then the Let's Talk is green. So I think that looks pretty cool. I like that a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on Publish to save my work. The last thing I can do is just make sure that this button does take them to the contact section, but in the link section, here it is, #contact. So when you click on it, it'll take them down to the contact section down here. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so the last thing that I want to change is the logos for the website. So now I'm going to show you guys how to create those right now. So in order to do that, let's go ahead and click on the back button twice. We'll come back to the header builder. Let's go ahead and open a new tab. So in this new tab, we're going to go ahead and search something called Logo Maker, but without the e.com. Okay, so this video right here is just going to show you how to use it, but I mean, I'm going to show you right now, so I'm just going to click out of it. Very easy to use logo making software, free as well. So in the top left corner, the biggest thing is you can search from over 1 million graphics. So for instance, if I click here and search something like camera, you'll get a whole bunch of different camera icons that you can use, and you can just keep on going and find a whole bunch of them. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to click on Back to Canvas over here in the corner. So then over here, you've got some basic things that you can do, like filling the paint with the paint bucket. You've got basic shapes like a square or a triangle or something like that. And so I can move these around. And so I've got my square and triangle. And then you can also click on text, and it'll add some text. You can type in here, and then you can just drag it wherever you want. You can also highlight everything and go ahead and delete it, because now we're going to go ahead and create an actual logo. You can also change the color of something. So for instance, if I chose to use a square, I can go ahead and change the color to something like this. I can also change it from red to orange, pink, blue, whatever you want. Let's just say I want an orange square. And then I can also change the opacity. I can type in my own hex code right here. And so let's just go back to something else. Now you can also rotate the square if you want to, something like this. I can make it a lot bigger. And I can use this one to make it bigger as well. And then I can go ahead and delete that. So let's go ahead and search a hexagon. Now I'm just going to make a really, really basic logo just to use because this is an example. So I'm just going to use this one right here and move it over. I don't know. Let's use these. Cool. And then I'm just going to rotate these 90 degrees, place them there. Let's make this a little bit smaller. A little bit bigger, actually. Okay, and then from here, I'm going to go ahead and change this to be like almost an off-white. So let's just say something like that. I'll change these to be my neon green, which should still be in my clipboard. Haha, yes it is. So just paste that color, and if you already copy pasted something else, then you can just go back to your color palette. And so that looks fine. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some text, and then just do like an L. Make this kind of bigger like that. Put it right here. And then kind of like that, I think. And then what I'm going to do is just highlight it, Control or Command C, Control or Command V, so I can make something the same size, and then just make an H. So my name is Levi Hagen, so I'm just putting an L and an H in here, and I'm going to put this right here. And so you see how this isn't perfect right here? You can actually use the arrow key. So let me click out of it because right now it's editing the text. I can click on it, and I can use my arrow keys to just move this around barely. So I'm just going to do that, move it over, and that looks perfect. If you ever want to move multiple things together, just highlight them all, and now I can move both of these. So that's pretty helpful. And make that white. Actually, I want the whole thing to be white. Actually, I want the hexagon to be white too. Perfect. So you can't see it, but it's all here. So now what I'm going to do is, if I were to highlight it all, I can change it to black if I want to, but I like the way that that one looks. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the Save Logo icon right here. And so whenever you're finished, you can go ahead and if you want to, you can choose the high resolution file and you have to license it. So you have to pay $19 and download the file. But I told you this is going to be free. And so we're going to say, no thanks, download the low resolution file right here. Perfect. And so it downloads it to my computer. And now let me go ahead and just highlight everything just so you can see it. I'm going to make it black. Okay, so now I've got my logo here. I also want a site icon, which a site icon is just what this is right here. Or for instance, HostGator has their little gator as their site icon. And so I want this part right here to be my site icon. That stands for Levi Hagen. So that can be my whole logo. So I'm actually just going to delete these just like that. Let's make this white again. And now this is going to be my site icon. So now I'll just click on Save and download the low resolution file right there. Then you can highlight and delete everything if you want to. Just close out of the tab. So now I've got my logo and my site icon. So let me show you guys how to put those in. We'll go back to the header builder. And now we're going to click on the logo, or you can click on logo right here. And so right now it's this JS for Jacob Smith. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this guy and upload my file. So select files. I'm going to go to my logos folder and I have both of them saved right here. So let's just take this one first. Perfect. Select. It's going to ask if you want to crop it, which I don't want to. Boom. That is a big logo. Okay, so let's go ahead and make it a little smaller. So the logo width is basically the logo size. So I'm just going to shrink it to something like that. And there is my fantastic looking, super intricate logo. Not really. So I like that there. And now while we're in the logo section, we can go ahead and scroll on down and we've got the site icon right here. So basically just branding our site completely in this little tab. So let's go to the site icon, upload files, select files, and then choose my icon right here. So I labeled them. So my logo's right here and my icon's right here. So click on open and then select. And then it's going to ask to crop again. I'm going to say skip. Boom. And so now you can see right here that the actual site icon popped up. So let's go ahead and click publish to save our work and to make it live. And so it's a little hard to see because I made it white, but if you want to, you can go ahead and open the site on an incognito tab. And you'll be able to see that the site icon is right there. So that looks pretty cool. So let's go ahead and close out of that guy and go back to the website. So we've got our logo in place. We've got our header menu all colored and themed out. And then we also have our contact button, which takes them down to the bottom. Let's go ahead and take that all the way to the bottom. And so now let's go ahead and edit the footer. So in order to do that, I'm just going to scroll up a little bit so my back button pops up. And then I'm going to click it twice and go to my footer builder. Perfect. So now the footer builder acts the same way as the header builder. You can see that we've got 3 different rows if you wanted to get kind of crazy with it, but all we have right now is social icons and a copyright, which the copyright looks like it's probably white text over here, so that's why you can't see it. And then we've got our social icons over here. So what you can do is go ahead and click on edit right here, or click on the social icons button, or click on social right here. All 3 take you to the same place. And so it's social icons. And so now you can click on the YouTube one, insert your YouTube channel URL, and then you can go to Instagram. and then you can type in your URL that takes them to your Instagram page. And so all you have to do that is you would just open a new tab, log into your Instagram, and then on your account page, just click on the hyperlink and copy paste it. And then Facebook as well. And then you can always say if you want to hide one, and so now Facebook disappears from the list, make it reappear, or you can delete it. And then you can also add a social icon, and then you can change this to be whatever you want, and then you can change the icon as well. That's how you do that. Let's delete that one. Perfect. And so now we can go over to the design tab and we can change the colors of these. So I'm just going to change the icon color. And so the color, I want it to start off as black. I think that's fine. And then when I hover over it, so let's go ahead and pull my green color real fast and paste it. And so now when I hover, it should highlight green just like that. I think that looks good. You can also add a background color if you want and do that, which I don't think looks very good. So I'm just going to leave it off. And so yeah, so now we've got our black icons right there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and click on publish to save our work. Perfect, so I'm gonna go ahead and close out of that tab, open the website on a new tab again, just by hovering over the name and clicking on it. And now we can see what we have. So we've got our header menu, which looks fantastic. We've got our Let's Talk button, which is the contact button, and then my logo. You can go ahead and let's just go to the Let's Talk just so it'll take me to the bottom, and we've got our social icons right here, where people could click on it and take them to your social media. So that looks awesome. Scroll back up to the top and close out of the tab. All right, guys. So now that we finished editing the header, the footer, the logos, which is also the site icon in there, and then also kind of put the colors into the website, we can go ahead and move on to step number 7, which is customizing our homepage. So in order to customize the homepage, we're going to go ahead and go up to the top corner right here and open our site on a new tab. And then from here, we're going to go over to edit with Elementor, which is right here on the top ribbon. All right, guys, so we've done all of our prep work. We've set up the header menu, the footer. We've put all our colors into the website and everything. So now we get to the fun part, which is actually customizing the website. So this is always fun because your creative side gets to come out. So first I want to start with doing a quick overview of Elementor. So welcome, by the way. This is the Elementor dashboard. And so this is how we're going to be editing the meat of the website. As you can see now, everything highlights when I hover over it because we're going to be able to change everything we want to. So let's go ahead and start with the layout of a website. So first you've got this blue box up here. As you can see, it highlights all the way around this giant section that takes up the entire screen. So this is called a section. So the section is the background. Then you've got columns within a section, and it's these gray dotted boxes right here. So you've got columns inside of a section, and then inside of those columns, you've got widgets. So like this right here is a header widget. So if I hover over this guy, it'll say edit the header widget right there, edit the heading. So you've got widgets inside of columns inside of the section up here. Now, over here on the left-hand side, these are the widgets. So you've got the basic ones right here, and then the Pro version, which I'm actually just going to close up this tab because this is the Elementor Pro version is where you get these widgets here. So you have to pay to get these. The free version of Elementor, though, does come with a lot more under the General tab. And then also, remember how I told you we're going to download the Essential Add-ons plugin right here? Well, that is all of these plugins. So it gives you 40 additional that you can use. So that is a lot of capability. Not to mention, I mean, the basics of the website, you're just going to be mostly using headings, text, images, videos, and buttons. So these right here are pretty much the main ones you're using. I mean, if we're looking at this header right here, we've got a heading text, we've got another heading right here, a text editor. This is just an icon, but it could easily be a button, and you say, click to contact me. Just like that button that we had up here in the corner for our header menu. Right? And that's not visible because we're within Elementor, so it's not showing you that header menu right now. But again, I mean, most of these are just headers. So if I click on this, it's going to be, or hover over it, it's going to say edit heading because it's just a place to insert text, body text, more heading text. So most of the website is going to be the basics here. But you can always use some of these special ones like the icon box right here. You can insert in some Google Maps, which we might do in the contact section. So scroll back up. So this is the widgets panel. And so anytime you want to get to the widgets panel, you'll just click on this little Rubik's Cube icon up here in the corner. So if I were to click on something else, and so now I go into the settings for this heading text right here, I can always click on these squares right here, the Rubik's Cube icon, and it'll take me back to the widgets. And again, Elementor is a drag and drop. So all we got to do is come over here to, let's say, the heading text, click and drag it, and we can put it right underneath this heading text. And now we're ready to start typing right here. And as you can see, I can type directly on the page, or I can over here This is the heading text. You always have 3 tabs. So you've got the content tab, and that's where you actually decide what's going to be displayed. Like you enter text or you choose an icon or whatever it is. Then you've got the style tab, which is where you decide how it's going to be displayed. What color is it? How big is it? Is there going to be a text shadow? Do you want it to be 3D? All of those things. And then you've got the advanced tab, which isn't that advanced. You're just going to be playing with margins and padding. And then also you've got some motion effects as well, and then sometimes border color and stuff like that. And we won't really be touching on most of these down here, but we will touch on motion effects and also the margins and padding, because this is very important. One thing that I want to show you guys while I'm in the advanced tab, I'm going to go ahead and edit the section back here, which is basically the background. If you click on those 6 dots right here, that's how you edit the section. And see, I'm now editing the section up here. Or you can right click and edit the section. And so I'm here under the advanced tab. The CSS ID is what I was talking to you guys about, how we can set up the header menu buttons, you know, the home button, the about button, and all those to go to specific places. So for instance, if I go down to the about section and I click on the edit section button right here, so now I'm editing the section and it's the about me section, I can go ahead and go to the style or the advanced tab, and you'll see right here is the hashtag about me, but you don't put the hashtag in the CSS ID. And so the hashtag is basically calling on this. So anytime you hit the about button, that's why it takes you right here. So we'll be doing that for the rest of the sections as well. So that being said, that's kind of a basic overview of Elementor. You just drag and drop things, and then anytime you want to make something more spacious, you play with the margins and padding. And we're going to be dealing a lot with these later on in the video in the mobile responsiveness part, so don't worry, we'll get to it. But essentially, margins are just the space outside of the box. So as you can see, when I hover over this widget, the blue line goes right here, right? So this is the square. So I can add more space on the inside, and so they have on the top and on the bottom an extra padding, so that's why there's space on top and space on the bottom. And then the margin is going to be the outside of the box. So padding is on the inside of the box. All right, guys, so now that we've kind of gone over like the basics of Elementor, I'm going to be showing you guys how to use it real time. So we're actually going to be going over editing the entire website. So let's get started with this top section. I'm going to call it the hero or header section. So in the hero section, we've got a background image. The way that you change the background image is easy. We're just going to edit the section again, or you can go up here to the 6 dots, but I just right-clicked and click Edit Section. Go to the Style tab, and you can see that the image background is this, this forest with a hill in it. So first we're going to go ahead and change that by going to our Upload Files, select Files, and I'm going to go ahead and upload my own image right here. Perfect. And click on Insert Media. And just like that, now you can see that the background image has changed. And so you're probably wondering, whoa, that's really cool. How did he get this picture of him to be overlaid over the image? Well, if we go ahead and click on this, it's actually its own giant image, and you can see the widget color right here. And so this is a special case. This is actually an image that's position has been set to absolute. Let me go ahead and explain that to you real quick. Most of the time, so for instance, if I come down here, see how there's a column, and then there's widgets inside of the column. Most of the time, if I were to add an image in here, so I'll take the image icon and just place it in here. It goes inside of the actual column. So you see this, this is a sub-column within this column. So this is a giant column, sub-column inside of here, right? So there's, looks like 4 of them. So here's this image. What I can do is I can actually change this by going to the Advanced tab, and I can go over to Positioning, and then I can change the position to be fixed or absolute. So let's change it to absolute. And now it basically treats this image like something that I can just drag anywhere on my home page, just like that. And then now as I scroll through, it's stuck there. Its position is absolute. It's not stuck inside of an actual column or a widget or something like that. Now, it's very rare that I actually do this because I usually like it to be inside of whatever it needs to be, but I just wanted to show you guys that you can do that if you want to. So I'm going to delete that. So that's how we did this right here. If I click and drag, I can move it wherever I want, but it's just a PNG. Now, a PNG, as you can see, when I clicked on it, I can now edit the image. A PNG is just something that you can usually do in Photoshop, but it's basically a blank background with an image right there. And so you retain this background, this transparent background. And so that's why you can overlay it like this. And so he put on a cool scroll effect. Let me show you guys how he did that too. If you go to the edit section, and when I say he, it's just whoever created this template that we're using. So I'm going to go ahead and right click and say edit the section. And so when I put my image in, I can change the position, attachment, and size. So for the position, if I wanted to, instead of saying cover, which basically stretches the image to be the entire width of the screen, I could do something like auto or default, and see how it zooms in a little bit, or default. and something like that. And then what I can do is say, instead of just focusing on the center of the image, I can say, let's try top right. And so now it's going to focus on the top right of the image. So in case you've got an image that you specifically want a specific part to be shown, you can do that. But I'm going to say center, center. So it focuses on the center, and then cover as the size, because that makes it stretch to the full width of the screen. The last thing you can do is the attachment, which right now it's fixed. So as I scroll right here, you'll see that the image stays in the background and it looks like my text flies over it, which is kind of cool. Well, you can change that to actually scroll with it by just changing the attachment back to default or scroll. And so now that it's scroll, as I scroll, see how my text and the mountain don't move? Well, they don't move with respect to each other. But I can change it back to fixed, and now the image is stuck in the background and the text floats over it, just like this. So that's a cool effect. And then they did the same thing with this image so that it floats over it, which gives it this cool 3D effect, like the text and everything is far away from the mountain kind of thing. So that's kind of cool. Well, let's go ahead and insert our own image into here. So I've actually got my own PNG that I found online, and so I'm just going to go ahead and throw that one in there. You don't have to use a PNG, but I thought it was really cool having that 3D effect, so I wanted to keep it just so you guys can see how to do it. So now I've got this image of a guy standing on a mountain cliff right here, and I, in Photoshop, just kind of cut him out of the image and placed him onto a transparent background. And so now, just like that, he's kind of just floating there. And so see how there's kind of like this edge over here? Well, I'm just going to drag him over, so now it looks like he's part of the background image, but now as I scroll, he moves with my text and the mountain stays still. So that's kind of cool. And then as you can see, there's one more image over here, but I'm going to right click it and just delete it. And it's this like after shadow picture. And see how I clicked on it and it's right here? So this one is kind of overlaid interestingly. So I'm just going to remove that guy. And so just like that, I have my section right here with the cool little transparent guy as I scroll. Now I'm going to move all of these widgets over to this side because I want everything on the same side. So the first thing I'm going to do is I actually have to move this image out of the way because it's on top of my text. So I can edit these, but if I try to click on Jacob Smith, I can't edit it. I'm editing the picture. So I'm just going to move him out of the way for now. So you see my image box right here. I'm just going to move him out of the way, and I'll come back to him in a little bit. So for Jacob Smith, I'm going to go ahead and change this to my name, but of course you would change this to your name. So Levi Hagen. I'm going to delete this little play video button, so it's gone. And then I'm going to move these guys over here. So all you got to do is drag and drop. So I'm going to drag him right underneath this heading. And so now I've got my little divider line. I'm going to drag this guy and drag this one in as well. And then I want my divider to be on top, just like that. So now let's go ahead and edit the divider. First, actually, I want to remove this space on the bottom of my title. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my title to edit it. And so now I'm editing the heading, right? I can change the alignment if I want to be centered or something like that, but I actually like the left alignment. So I'm going to go over to the Style tab, and I can change the text color if I want to. And so this is actually something important. Before I even change the text color, I want to show you guys how to set default colors just like we did using our color palette right here, so that I don't have to keep coloring or copying the hex code. Because right now what I would have to do is hit Control or Command C right here, and then I would actually have to go in here and paste it. Control V or Command V. And then every time I do that, it would take forever trying to, copy paste that same color throughout the website. So I want to make it easy on myself. So first let's update to save our work. This little green button in the bottom left corner. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to this hamburger icon in the top left corner, and these are kind of the Elementor settings locally. And then I'm going to go to my site settings. And so what I'm going to do is go to global colors right here, and I can actually put in all of these colors right here. Now don't pay attention to these titles because you can click on it and literally type whatever you want. So I'm going to go ahead and click right here, and I'm going to copy and paste all of the colors that I have on my color palette into here. And so I'll copy paste them one by one right in here. And you'll notice that on my color palette, I've got 5 colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on here, I've only got 4. So you just click add color. And so now I've got a 5th one. And I can change the title to whatever I want. So I'm going to do that right now. So I'm going to go ahead and skip this part just to save you guys time of me copy pasting a whole bunch of hex codes. So I'll see you guys in just a second. All right, guys, welcome back. So I went ahead and just typed out what the color actually was, and then I went ahead and just pasted in all of the hex codes. So now you can see that all of these colors are right here. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Update to save that setting, and then click on this X button right here in the corner. All right, so let's go back to that heading text right here, and you'll see that the text color, right, I had to actually select it by pasting my copy code in there, right? So now I can just click on this little globe icon, and I can choose from the color palette that I inserted. So I can go ahead and select my green color right there. I think that looks awesome. Now, typography is something you're going to be using all the time. You can go ahead and set up default typographies, which I just sometimes don't do, and I'm not going to do for this tutorial, but again, you can set those up. But I'm going to go ahead and click on the pencil icon right here. In the family, you can just pick a different font if you want. You've got Times New Roman and a whole bunch of other ones, as you can see. So that's kind of cool. I'm going to leave it the way it is. I think it looks fine. I think it's Roboto right now, which is the default setting. And so then I can change the size just by dragging this, or I can actually type it in right here, which I'm going to make it something like that. And then one thing you can do to preview how big it is, because obviously, as you can see, my screen is cut off by this dashboard, is you can hit this arrow right here and see how it's going to look full screen. I want to see if I can get my letters to be in line. And so I'm going to go ahead and make that a little bit smaller. Try that. Put my arrow back. Yes, it doesn't move. So I think that looks great. I'm going to leave it there. And then I can also change different things like the weight, so I can make it a lot thinner if I want to. But I'm going to leave it at like 800, which is what it was. Oh, a little bit too much. So maybe 600. Yes, so like 600. I can transform it to uppercase or capitalize if I want to. So now it's all uppercase, but I'm going to leave it as default. I can change the style to italic or anything like that. And then decoration like underlines and stuff. I can change the line height and then also the letter spacing. Maybe increase the spacing. Actually, I'm not going to, because then it makes it 2 lines, and I want it to be 1 line. All right, so now that we've finished that, let's go to the last tab, which is the Advanced tab. And I'm going to go ahead and just remove that bottom padding. Just like that. All right, and then after zeroing it out, let's go ahead and edit the divider next. I want to just double check that this one doesn't have any padding. It doesn't, so we're good. I'm going to go to my divider. And so this is very easy to edit. So the content, I can change the width of my divider, so how long it is. As you can see, now it's way out there. I actually like it kind of short. And then you can change it to be dashed, curly, wavy, whatever. If you want it centered or to the right, as you can see. I'm going to go to the Style tab, and I can change the weight up to like 3. And as you can see, it made it thicker, so I'm going to go even thicker, maybe like 4. Perfect. And then I can choose the gap, which is how much spacing it has. So I think that looks pretty good. All right, and I actually just realized that there's some padding underneath here. And so I can go to the Advanced tab. Yep, there it is. I'm going to zero it out and go back to my Style tab. And so now the gap is centered, as you can see. So I'm going to make it kind of spaced out just a little bit like that. All right, and then I can change this Professional Video Blogger, and I can go to the Content tab, and I can change this to a professional model, because I'm going to make myself look like I'm a professional model in this video. That's what I decided to do. Lastly, I'm going to go ahead and edit the section again. So right click and go Edit Section. Go to the Advanced tab. And it looks like I've got padding on my section here. So I'm going to go ahead and just remove the padding. Then I'm going to go over to the Layout tab. I'm going to change the minimum height to be fit to screen. And so now that makes the entire header hero section fit to my screen. You can also change it to minimum height, and then you can drag and make it bigger or smaller if you want to. But I'm just going to say fit to screen, because then it'll automatically always fit the screen, no matter how big the monitor screen size is. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and click on Update to save my work. Okay, and so now I realize that the image that's absolute is still pertaining to this section, and so it's automatically going to go and cut to the bottom of this section, which looks like it's an intersection, rather than to the bottom of my screen here. So no matter how hard I try to put him down here, it's going to automatically cut it to this line. So let's see what we can do about making this line touch the very bottom of the screen as well. So again, I'm going to move the image out of the way. And now I'm going to go over to this section underneath and click Edit Section right here. Got it. All right, and then after I'm in the intersection, which an intersection is just a section within a section, you can do that. It's a widget, so I'll show you right here. It's an intersection, and so it places it inside. And so we're going to edit the intersection. And I'm going to remove its padding on the bottom. That's why it's so spacious down here as well. Just like that. So now it's a little bit less confusing. I've got my intersection right here, 2 widgets, my columns and everything. So finally what I'm going to do is edit the section up here. So this is the main section. And then I can go over to my column position, which is set to middle, and I can change it to bottom. And so now my column is way here at the bottom, right? So from here, what I can do is add some padding to the bottom of this guy. So I'm going to go back to the intersection, go to the Advanced tab, and add some padding to the bottom. So I'm going to unlink the values together. And to the bottom, let's add like 100. I think 250 looks pretty good. So I'm going to leave it with 250. Go ahead and click on Update. And so now that this section is technically touching the bottom, I shouldn't have a problem with my image. So if I drag it back in, it's going to autocorrect to the bottom. So that looks good. All right, maybe drag him over just a little bit more, something like that. Click Update to save my work. All right, so now that my hero section is finished, let's go ahead and preview what it looks like. So I'm going to go over to the bottom left corner next to my Update button and click on the Preview Changes button. All right, so this is what our website looks like so far. Well, the hero section at least. And so as you can see, we have a lot to go here. Now, one thing I notice is it's still not touching the very edge. So I want to make sure that it's completely towards the side. So I'm going to go ahead and close the website and just drag my image over even more. So something like this. Click on Update to save my work. And you can also move this arrow over just to get a sneak peek. And it looks like it's going to be good, as you can see over here. So one last double check by previewing the changes in the bottom left corner. Perfect. That looks fantastic. And then as I scroll, everything stays in front of the mountains. That looks so cool. I love that. Now, again, everything that I just did with this little PNG image, you don't have to do. If you wanted to just delete it, just remove it, and just have something that looks like this, and then preview those changes, you could just have something that looks like this, which I think looks pretty cool. You've got an image in the background, your name and what you do, and then you keep scrolling down, and then you have the rest of your website. But because the template had it, I thought I would include it just in case anybody else wanted to do the same thing. So we'll put the image back, just make sure that it doesn't come off. Looks like it's good. Update to save our work. Perfect. Now there's one last thing that I want to do on the hero section, and that's motion effects. And every section I do, I want to go ahead and apply the motion effects so that I don't forget to later on in the website. So what motion effects do is as you scroll through the website, you can have it look more interactable so that as they scroll, certain motions affect the website. So for instance, let me go ahead and just show you what I mean. So while we're editing this image, what I want this to do is when the page loads, I want this picture to come in from the left and this title area section to come in from the, excuse me, I said that backwards. I want this image to come in from the right, and then I want my title section to come in from the left. So let's do that now. Go to the Advanced tab and go down to Motion Effects right here. So the image over here on the right, I want to click on it and say fade in from the right. And so now, just like that, it fades in from the right. And so, of course, you can choose from a lot of different ones, but I think some of these are weird, like wobble. So I stick to the basics of just fades. So fade from the right. All right, and so now we're going to go ahead and edit this intersection right here. So let's go ahead and click on these 6 dots right here and go to the Advanced tab, Motion Effects, and we'll make this guy come in from the left. So there comes my text, just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Update, and I want to show you guys what that looks like. Boom, just like that. So everything comes in from different angles, and then I can keep scrolling. So I think that looks pretty cool. All right, so we've finished the hero section. Let's go ahead and move on to this little value proposition section. Now this is going to be really easy. What I'm going to do is just add some basic things that I do pretending I'm a model, which I'm not, but we can pretend for today's tutorial. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this title right here. And again, you can edit straight on the page, or I can come over here and edit over here. So where I specialize is what I'm going to put here. And then I'm going to put different types of modeling here. So I'll leave adventure on there, but I can change wild to, I can do fashion, swimwear, commercial, and I'll show you guys how to fix that in just a second. Parts. All right, and then so for commercial, oh, by the way, parts is actually when you do like hand modeling, like if you're wearing jewelry or something like that. I actually had to look that up because I was curious, but just different types of modeling is what I'm doing here. And so I'm going to go ahead and edit this one right here. And I'm going to go to the Style tab and see if I can play around with it so that it fits without doing that weird thing. It's just because it's too long, so it's moving to the next row. And so you can go to the typography here. Let's change the letter spacing to be a little bit less, maybe. Yep, that works perfect. A little sneaky way of just trying to get it all in one line. So I can click Update to save my work there. Perfect. I think that looks great. So now the last thing I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to add some motion effects. So we'll just go ahead and edit this title, Advanced tab, Motion Effects, and I'm going to say fade in from the right. I'm going to take this entire section with these 4 and get them to come in from the left. And then I'm going to go ahead and edit this whole section to come back in from the right. Update to save my work. I'm going to go ahead and preview my changes. So those 2 swoop in, I scroll down, and all of those come in from different sides. I think that looks pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out. Perfect. So now we've got a value proposition here. It's basically a different type of value proposition, but it's, pretty similar. Is I'm just saying that I'm a professional model, and so they might go, okay, well, if you're a professional model, like what kind of modeling do you do? And so I'm telling them right up front that I do these types. So it's just kind of answering your client's questions before they have to ask you. So that's kind of a little bit of web design preparation 101. Okay, so now we're in the About section. So this is going to be kind of cool. They've got this cool little image here on the side, and then we've got just basic title, text, more text, and then these are just counters. So if I were to click on this, you'll see it's just a counter. And so you can type in the number you want it to go to and where you want it to start from, and then just animates counting up, which is kind of cool. And so honestly, I'm not really going to change these. You can put different stats here if you want. The way you would do that is you can change the number here. You can change the prefix or suffix. So if you want to put like a % sign right here, you could. So for instance, right here, the 14, there's a little % sign right there. And so that's what that's for. But then you can also change the title, which is subscribers, but basically is saying, I've got 8 million subscribers, which, wow, this guy's way more popular than I could ever be. And then you've got videos and engagement rate. Now, this is where, for instance, you could put like model. If I was a model, I could say, 480 videos. I could say 200 photo shoots and a 99 or 100% satisfaction rating or something like that. So you guys can just kind of change those numbers around. You could also put in logos right here from different companies that you're associated with. And these are literally just little mini images, as you can see. And those are totally fake logos. So he must have just made those probably using Logo Maker. You never know. The same website we used. But anyways, so for the About Me page, I'm going to go ahead and change this title. And I wanted to show you guys something kind of cool with this one. I'm going to go to the Rubik's Cube icon to pull up a widget and pull up dual heading. Dual color heading. And so I'm going to drag this right underneath the About Me section. I'm going to make this title a little bit more interesting by changing the color of both of these texts. You can't do it on a regular heading, and so that's why it's really cool to use this widget, which, by the way, comes from Essential Add-ons. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the icon by just saying Show Icon and turn it off. And then I'm also going to go ahead and remove the tagline. I'm going to go ahead and change the heading. And the second one. And then I'm going to go over to the Style tab and then ignore the background color, padding, and all of that stuff. But I'm going to go down to Colors and Typography and change the colors of these texts right here. I'm going to make this one green and this one white. So I've got About Me right there. Looks cool. Let's go ahead and make my text look like this one so I can just replace it. So I'm going to go down to my title, Typography. Increase that size to make it huge, just like that one. Perfect. And then it looks like this one is left aligned. Mine is centered. So if you really wanted to be picky, you could go back to the Content tab and change the alignment right here to left. And now it's right there. I'm going to right click this top heading and delete it. So I'm done with my title right here. Another thing that I wanted to show you guys you can do is to insert some actual links that you can use for your social media. So in the About Me page, if this is your business page and you want to have links to your social media so they can go check out your work, you can go ahead and go to the Rubik's Cube icon, type in social, and you'll have these social icons right here. So I'm just going to drag them in as a widget. Boom. And I get these automatic widgets generated. So let's go ahead and customize them real quick. So editing these widgets, I can say Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. If you want more, you can click on Add Item. And so right now it's WordPress with a logo right here, but I can change this to Google. Oh, you got to go to all icons, not recommended. And so I'm going to choose Google+. And then I could also go down and add another item. And choose like Instagram, for example. Perfect. And so now I've got, Google+, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. And again, if you ever want to replace the order, I could take Twitter and move it to the front, just like that. And so now it's in front. And then I'm going to change the shape from rounded to circle. And so now it's got these cool circles like this. And then what I'm going to do is you can change columns if you want to, like how many columns you want. So 1, 2, 3 right now. It's auto to 3, but you can change it to 1 if you want. Now they're going to be in a giant line, for instance, but I'm going to leave it on auto because I think it looks fine like that. You can actually put your link in by clicking on, like, for instance, Twitter. And then right here in the links tab, you can put in your hyperlink to your Twitter account. And then you'd put in your Facebook link to your Facebook account, and so on. So I'm going to go to the Style tab. I'm going to change the color from official color to custom so I can change the color. So instead of using the official colors, right, I'm actually going to change them to what I want. And so my primary color is going to be green, and then my secondary color is going to be black. So it matches my theme of my website. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the icon hover. So this is regular icon, but when I hover over it, I'm going to swap these colors. So now I want this to be black and this to be green for the secondary. So now when I hover, see how it inverts and it looks really cool? I think that's awesome. So I'm going to leave that there. So click on update to save my work. All right, so now let's go ahead and change the background here. So we can go ahead and click on edit the 6 dots right here for edit section, style tab, and we can change the image. So I'm going to upload my own image, and we're going to use this guy right here and click on insert. And now this is something unique. As you can see, he's got that PNG image overlaying the background image again, which is kind of cool. But what I wanted to show you guys was I can do the same thing. So the last one up here, this is a separate image with an absolute position setting. This one down here is something different. It's a background overlay. So I can go over here and do a background overlay. If I didn't want to use this image, which see, here's the image that is him, delete that. I could put a background overlay color like this. Then I can change the opacity, right? And I can do like a black overlay, something like that, so it looks kind of cool. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use my own PNG. So I'm going to reset this guy, take the color off. And again, I have my own PNG that I saved because I thought it would look cool. And then click on Insert Media. And so now I've got this really cool overlay right here, which I'm going to set to 100% opacity. And there I am. That's my About Me right there. So let's go ahead and change this text color to be all white. So I'm going to click on this one first. Style tab. Change the color to white. And then I'm going to do the same thing for this one. And the same thing for these. Go to the text tab right here because this is an icon list for some reason. And go to text color and change it to white. Go to this title. Change it to white. And then down here, I can change these counters to be white. So what I'm going to do is change one of them. So go to the Style tab, text color to white. Go to the title, text color white. So now you can see it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, right-click and say copy. Right-click on this one and paste the style. And so it's going to change the color of it. Same with this one. Perfect. And then I can also edit the section right here. And then I can go over to the Style tab, and I can change the border from gray to white because it's got these 2 lines up here and on the bottom because he set the border top and bottom right there. And so change those to white. I can change this guy to white. And then also for these logos back here, what I'm going to do is go to the edit section, which again, this is an intersection, so he could put 4 into the same column. And so then I'm going to go over to the Style tab. I'm going to choose a background color of like a light gray, like that. Actually, I have a light gray, so I'll just use it. So my light gray setting right there. And then I'm going to change the opacity of it. So I'm going to go into the color and right here, make it a little bit more transparent. So something like this. And then I can go as well to the border and I can round it a little bit by clicking on the border radius and increasing. And so now I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's like that curve right here. So let me go ahead and show you what it looks like. I'm going to click update to save my work. Preview. All right, and then we scroll on down to the About Me section, and I think it looks pretty cool. I like that a lot. All right, so that's my about section. Now I also am gonna fix one last thing by clicking edit section. So I'll right click and click edit section like this. And then I'm gonna go back to my background overlay, which it looks like it's already open because that's the last thing we did in there. And so from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over to the color, and I can, as well as having an image overlay, I can also do a color. So I'm also gonna put a black overlay here. And then if I were to change this opacity, it would also make me pretty clear. So I'm gonna, or excuse me, transparent, not clear. And so what I'm gonna do is change the transparency of the black here, right? So right now it's too bright. So I wanna darken the background up so that it's easier to see my text. So something like that. And actually maybe not black, maybe more of like a light gray. Yeah, something like that. That looks so much better. Like that. Perfect. So I think that looks awesome. And then the last thing, very last thing for the about page or about section is motion effects. So I'm going to click on this title up here first, go to the advanced tab, motion effects, and have this one come in from the top. So fade down, just like that. I'm going to have all of these. So I'm just going to take this entire column, which has 2 widgets, advanced tab, motion effects, and I want it to come in from the left. All of these I want to come in from the right. So take the entire column, advanced, motion effects, fade in from the right. And then these 3, I want to fade in from the bottom. So this one, advanced, motion effects, and I want it to fade up like this. And then I'm going to increase the delay to 200 milliseconds. And so now it's going to wait 200 milliseconds. It's a delay, and then it will fade up. So I'm going to do the same thing for, so this is 200. I'm going to do the same thing for this one. So copy, paste the style, go to the advanced tab, motion effects. Oh, it didn't change it. Okay, so then we'll have to change the style to fade up, and this time it'll be 400. And then this one, we'll go to the advanced tab, motion effects, fade up, and I'm going to change it to 600. And you can also change the animation duration. So you can make it a super slow fade like that, and you can see it slowly go up, or you can make it fast and it goes really fast. I usually just leave it on normal, but I mean, you can do what you want. And then click on update to save my work. Now I want to show you guys what that looks like. We'll scroll on down to the About Me section and look at all those things just kind of flow all over the place. It just makes the website look a lot more responsive. So I like adding motion effects. So if I were to refresh the page right now, you'll see what everything does right here in the About section, where everything just fades in like this. And see how that goes 1, 2, 3, it kind of goes like up, up, up. That's where that delay comes into effect. So that's pretty fancy. And then they can, of course, click on whatever social icons they want right here. You're giving them multiple places for them to contact you. So you've got social media right here. At the very bottom of the website, you've also got your social media. We're going to have a contact form right here. The goal is to make it as easy as possible to talk to you. Okay, perfect. So now that we're done with the About section, let's go ahead and move on to the Featured Vlog section, which I'm going to change to a video section. So what we're going to do is first change this title text. So I'm going to change this to Featured Videos. Okay, so it looks like the text is going to be like that. So I'm going to have to shrink it a little bit. So let's go to the Style tab, Typography, and I can change the size to be something like this, because I like how it overlays over the image of the video. So there's 2 ways that you can do a video on your website. Well, there's a few ways, but one way is you go to the Rubik's Cube icon and you can insert an actual video. And it's literally going to insert a video into your website where they can click on the play button and the video plays. Now, as you can see, this is a YouTube video. It's just a placeholder, but it's a video. So if I delete this one, another way you can do it is you can insert an image. So as you can see, if I edit the intersection and go to the Style tab, the background image is taking up the entire intersection right here. So they wanted a giant image. And then what they do is they have a little icon right here. And so if I edit the icon, you can take a link and put the YouTube, youtube.com, blah, 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 and you can place that right there. And so what that does is anytime they click on this button, it'll take them to the YouTube video. So there's two different ways you can do that if you want. I'm just going to leave this the way it is though, just to, for the sake of time. But of course, if you want to, you can always right click and delete this part and then just enter in a video instead. So what I'm going to do is just actually change the background image here. And then click on Insert Media. And so I've got my image in the background here. And let's go ahead and change this button up. So I'm going to click on it to edit it. The icon I think is fine, but instead of this view, I'm going to change it to, I can change it from stacked. And so it does like this cool, more like filled out overlay, or default, which is literally just the icon. Kind of boring. So I'm going to do stacked because I like it a little bit better. Style tab. And I can change the normal color. So the primary color is white. Secondary color is like this gray part right here in the center. So I'm going to change that to red. So I'm going to change the opacity all the way up and make it red. Just like that. So now it looks like an actual play button. And then I'm going to go to the hover tab and change the hover animation. So I'm going to change the primary color, keep it white, and I'll make this my green. So when they hover, turns green. Awesome. All right, and then you can always edit the text there. I'm just going to leave the dummy text. So let me go ahead and change these three. So edit the column, style, change the background image, go to select files, and I'll choose this one. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to upload the other two. So select files. Okay, and so I'm still going to select the same image. You can upload multiple at a time and then just pick from your media gallery. So insert media. I can go to this column next, which this background image is back there, style tab, and I'll change it to, in my media library, just to this one. And then I can change this column, style tab, edit the image, and change it to this guy. Cool. So now I've got these videos right here that people can go ahead and click on if they want to. We've got a cool little animated button that takes them to a different YouTube video if they want. And I think that looks good. Lastly, I'm going to edit this button right here. So if you go ahead and hover over it and click on edit the button. So this is the button right here. Okay, and so what I'm actually going to do is duplicate this and change it to be an icon instead of a box, or excuse me, a button, because you can't change the color of the icon. And I want the YouTube icon to be red. So I'm going to go over here to the Rubik's Cube, and I'm just going to type in icon. And I'm going to take an icon box, which is basically the same thing as an icon, but it's got text underneath. Place it there. So first change the icon. I'm going to go ahead and just click on the icon, and I'm going to search YouTube. And then I'm going to delete all of this text and then just use the header and say visit my channel. Perfect. And then this is where you would actually put in the YouTube channel link. So that's important. And then we'll go to the style tab. By the way, you can also change the icon position to be on the right-hand side. So now it's on the side or the left, but it moves the entire text as well. So I just leave it on top. Style tab. We can change the icon color from red or to red. So now it's a red YouTube logo. And then when you hover on it, I could change it to green. So now it'll change to green. And so visit my channel is the content, not the icon, because see how there's content and icon. So the content, we'll go to the title, and we'll change the text color to white. So visit my channel, and they can click on the icon right here, and it'll take them to your YouTube channel. So let's go ahead and delete this button. Perfect. Now that is one themed out featured video section. So lastly, let's put some motion effects on here. We can go ahead and first put it on the title, advanced tab, motion effects, and let's go ahead and do a fade in. Then for this first section right here, edit the intersection. You guys know how to do the motion effects by now because you see me do it so much, so I'm going to move a little bit faster. All right, so this next section, I'm actually just going to delete the entire thing. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on the X button right there, and it deletes the entire thing. By the way, if you want those drones out of the way, it looks like it's just an image in the background right here. So I'm going to go ahead, and again, you can tell that it's set to the absolute position because I can drag it wherever I want. I'm just going to delete it. Image is gone. So now I want to add two more sections in between the video and the contact section. So in order to do that, all you got to do is come up to the section that is below and click on the plus button right there, right here. And from here, click on the plus and just choose a single one. You can choose how many columns you want, as you can see, and if you want one bigger, one smaller kind of thing. So I'm going to say one column like this. Go over to the Rubik's Cube icon and search a gallery. Actually, search filter, because I want a filterable gallery. Insert that bad boy in there. This is really cool because I can filter the gallery based on different criteria. And then I can hover over it and have a gallery name with this cool overlay, a link so it'll take them to actually a web page if you want, and then also they click on this button and it'll zoom in on the image. And then they can scroll through the different images as well and exit. So let's go ahead and fill this gallery right now. So I'm going to go ahead and edit the gallery by clicking on it. Close the settings tab for now, and we'll go down to gallery items. Actually, before we do gallery items, you have to do the filter controls first. So I'm going to take this gallery item and change it to shoot 1. And then add item and say shoot 2. And so this is just like the first photo shoot and the second photo shoot, and so you can choose different photo shoots. And that looks good. So basically we're saying that if I label anything with shoot 1, it'll show up when I click on shoot 1 and then shoot 2. See how it already changed, and then I go to all and it shows all of them. So we're about to program that. Very easy, by the way. So now we'll close that, go to gallery items, and you'll see all of the items and its gallery item name. So let's edit the first one. The control name needs to be shoot 1 because that's how you link that together. Perfect. I'm going to Control C or Command C to copy that because we're going to paste that over the next few. And then for this one, I'm just going to call it photo 1. Scroll down. And then to my image right here, upload files, select files. And then I've actually got in my portfolio thing, I've got a gallery section with all of my gallery images. So I'm just going to take all of them minus these two because I already have them uploaded. Okay, perfect. So I've got my images here, so I'll go ahead and click on Insert First One. And then you can also edit the text right here, which is what shows up right here as a short description. And then you can also enter in the link at the very bottom right here. And so that's where the hyperlink would go when they click on this guy right here. So I'll let you guys put in your own links. I just wanted to show you guys how to use this. So let's go ahead and do the rest of them just like this. I'm going to go ahead and enter in a few more images and then also just label them under shoot 1 or shoot 2. So I'll see you guys in just a second. All right, guys, welcome back. So I went ahead and entered in all of the images. The last thing that I want to show you guys was the second shoot. And so obviously first shoot and then second shoot right here. So I can choose from shoot 1, so it just shows these, and then I can show shoot 2 and it'll show those. And then I can go back to all and it shows everything. So that's kind of cool. If you've got multiple jobs that you want to display or something like that, you can say like the round rock job, like something like that. So really cool filterable gallery that I like. And then of course as well, if they press the plus button, they can look at each image individually. So that's pretty fancy. Last thing I'm going to do is motion effects. So I'm just going to go to the section right up here. Advanced tab. First thing I want to do is add some padding on the top and bottom, just 100. Just to add a little bit of breathing room on the top and bottom. And then go motion effects and fade up. Perfect. And then click on update. All right, so I already previewed this one for you guys, so let's go ahead and move on to the next one, which is going to be an Instagram section. So I'm going to go ahead and click the plus button right here, add, and then I'm going to choose the single column again. Now this one's pretty easy. I'm just going to click on the plus button right here to pull up my widgets panel, or I could go to the Rubik's Cube, and I'm going to go ahead and search something called shortcode. Perfect. Take my shortcode and enter it in here. So this widget's really interesting. What I can do is I can actually, if you know HTML or any kind of coding, you can type it in here and have something custom display if you know how to do the coding. Of course, I'm not teaching you guys how to do coding, and I don't expect you to know how to do the coding. I'm going to show you guys a very cool plugin that tells you how to do it and how to display your Instagram feed. It's very easy, so trust me. I'm going to go ahead and click Update to save. All right, and so we're going to go back to the dashboard and go down to Instagram feed, which is the Smash Balloon plugin that we downloaded earlier. And so now we're just going to go ahead and click on it on a new tab. All right, and so this is the part where you actually have to connect it. So we'll just click on the connect to your Instagram account. It's a personal account for me. And then you just log into your Instagram, which, by the way, if you guys want to follow me, feel free. Of course, you don't have to follow me if you don't really like me. That's cool too. I'm just going to say not now. And then it's going to ask, do you want to allow Smashballoon Social to use it? And I'm going to say yes. Perfect. It's going to ask, do you want to connect this account? I say yes. All right. And so now I've got Flytricks, which is a personal private account, and it's set up and good to go. And so it expires in 59 days, and I can refresh now, but that's fine. We'll go ahead and scroll on down. You can also check, check for new posts. So for instance, what if someone's on your website right as you post a picture? Do you want it to check for a new post every hour or in the background, like over and over, or you can change it to every 2 hours or days, minutes, however you want to do it. This is basically just the refresh rate. So I'll let you guys play around with that guy. Now this is really important right here. This is how you display your feed. And all you have to do is take this bit of shortcode right here, copy it, so Command-C or Control-C, go into Elementor, and paste it. We'll click on Update to save our work, and as you can see, Flytricks has been pasted into my website. Now before I do anything else here, I'm going to go back to the settings, because it's on this tab over here. Okay, and so to change the way that your feed is displayed, you actually don't go to display your feed. You go to Customize. So I'm going to go to Customize. And then in here, we can change the width of the feed, which I'm not going to touch. You can change layouts if you go for the pro version of this plugin. So you can do different, like, I can do a highlight grid and then all these different big size, little size pictures and stuff. I'm just going to stick to the basic grid because it's free. And then you can change the number of photos, which I just want to show 8. And then I can also choose the number of columns. So right now, just for example, this picture has 3 columns. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to stick to 4, but you can choose however many you want. And then padding around the images is 5, which is basically the spacing in between the images. And so I'm just going to leave it because it's default. And then you can change it from newest to oldest or oldest to newest. I don't really care to. So I'm just going to click on Save My Changes. Okay, so I'm going to close that tab, refresh the Elementor tab so that it pulls all of that new information that I just saved. Go ahead and scroll on down to my Instagram section. So here it is right here. One more thing I'm going to do is also add a background. So I'm going to go ahead and go up to my 6 dots here and just add a background image. So Style tab, click on the classic one, and it opens up the image option. And then I'll just upload my own image. All right, and then Insert Media. And so now I've got my background image. I'm going to change the position to center, and you can see that it focused on the center. And then the size is cover. It'll zoom out just a little bit. And I'm also going to change the attachment to fixed. So now as I scroll through, it shows different parts of the image, which looks cool. And then the last thing is Advanced tab. I'm going to add some padding on top and bottom of 150. Unlink the values together. That would be helpful. So I'm going to take it off of the left and right. Just like that. So now it's just top and bottom of 150. Look at that cool picture. I love that. I took that picture of myself. All right, now let's click Update to save our work. And there was one more thing I totally forgot, the motion effects. And we'll just have the entire section fade. Actually, not the section. Let's edit the columns. So I'm going to go to Column, Advanced, Motion Effects, and make it fade up like that. Click Update, and now we're going to preview. Boom. Cool hero section. Boom. Value proposition. The About Me page looks cool too. Featured videos scrolls in nicely. We've got our photo gallery. And then as I scroll through, I've also got my Instagram feed right here. I think that looks really, really cool. And then I can scroll down a little bit more, and I've got the contact section. So let's get into that. And I also just realized one last thing for this section here. I wanted to do a little bit of a background overlay because it's a little bit too bright. So go to the Style tab after, of course, editing the section by right-clicking. Go to Background Overlay. And I can choose just a basic color, so I'll use my black. And it's not black enough. Let's do that, a little bit more sharp. And then, of course, I can make it super dark or super light. I'm going to leave it at like 0.43, kind of looks nice. And update. And then I also realized that when I previewed it, it looked like there was too much padding because the Instagram feed itself expands because it's going to show the images when you're not in the back end. So I'm actually going to change this just back down to 50. And that's also something that's really important to do is constantly check your work by previewing the changes and seeing how you like it. And then after previewing those changes, you can always go back and make those little small changes just to make sure that it's absolutely perfect. And so that is my Instagram section right there. So I've got my Instagram images, and they can load more, and then they can follow me on Instagram. One last thing, that if you guys are curious on how to edit these two buttons, you actually have to go back to your Smash feed. So settings, open it up on a new tab. On the Customize tab, you can scroll down here, and you can actually change the color of the Load More button and then also the Follow button right here. And so you can change these colors here. I'm not going to because I'm just a little too lazy, but I just wanted to show you guys where you could do it, just in case you were curious. And then that would change the Load More and the Follow button right there. So I'm going to go ahead and close my preview out. And finally, we are on the contact section. Now, I'm not going to do much to change the contact section because I think it's already pretty professional on its own. What we are going to do is insert our own contact form right here. And so this is where we're going to use that last plugin that we downloaded called WP Forms. Very easy to use. First of all, the template comes with a WP Forms right here widget, but let me show you there's actually two. So we're going to delete this one. Go up to the search bar and search WP. And so now you've got two WP Forms right here. Actually, you've got three. Wow. So WP Forms, and WP Forms. I'm going to use the one that's from Essential Add-ons because it's the most customizable. So click and drag this one in there. And so now I've got my form right here. Let's go ahead and update, and then I'm going to show you guys how to put in your form. All right, guys. So now in order to go create a form, we go back to the dashboard. And again, this is why I like having another tab open for the dashboard. I always leave it there so that I can always quickly go back rather than having to exit out of Elementor and take too long. So now once we're on the dashboard, we'll go down to WP Forms right here, and we'll go over to Add New and open it on a new tab. Okay, so now you've got some different options. You can select from a template or use a blank form. So here's a blank form, simple contact, a newsletter, suggestion form, whatever you want to use. I would suggest using a template. Why waste the time of doing a blank form and dragging everything out when I could just click right here? Actually, first, title a name. So my title's right there. And then I can just choose the simple contact form and change it up. So as you can see, it automatically takes the name that I typed in right there. And if you didn't like that name, you can click on it, and it'll automatically take you to the Settings tab under General, and you can change the contact name. But I'm going to go back to the fields. And so this is pretty easy to use. It's similar to Elementor where it's drag and drop. So if I want the name to be under the email, I just drag it underneath. But I like the name on top. Got name, email, comment, or message. And so what I can do is I can go ahead and enter in like numbers and put that right there. And then for numbers, I could click on the field and then change it from numbers, take off the S, and make it phone number. And so that's where they would put in a phone number right there. You can make it a required field or not a required field, so that puts the little asterisk right there. And then you can also click on any field you want, go to the advanced options, and you can enter in the placeholder text. So now you've got first and last, just like that. And then you can change the submit button as well. So you click on the submit button, it takes you straight to the settings for it. And I can change the text from submit to send or let's talk or something like that, but I think it looks fine just the way it is. And then you could go ahead and click on save. Now I wanted to show you guys how to do this so that you can create a form if you want to and make it different. But I'm going to go ahead and close out of this, save and exit. And so I've got my primary contact form and simple contact form. I'm going to delete my primary contact form. And I'm just going to use the simple contact form that came with the template that we downloaded. So the website template that we had, the starter template, it came with the contact form. I just wanted to show you guys how to, make some changes if you wanted to. So let's go ahead and close out of this tab. And now back on Elementor, we can go ahead and click on the widget. And all we have to do is select a form. And so if I had the primary contact form that I created still created and not deleted, it would also be here because you can pick from multiple forms. So we'll select the simple contact form. Boom. Throws it right in, nice and professional. I'm going to take the title off first. So here's the title, don't show. And then I'm also going to make sure that the labels are taken off. So now only placeholder text is there. So they can put email, full name, subject, and message. Now let's go ahead and change the send message button as well. So I'm going to go over to the style tab, close the form container. You can make changes if you want to, like sizing, margins, and stuff. But I'm going to go down to the submit button, scroll down a little bit, And let's go ahead and change it. So right now, under the normal tab, I'm going to change the background color to be green. And then I want the text color to be black, which it already is, but I just want to make sure it stays that way. Then I'll go to the hover tab, and I can change the background color to be black and the text color to be green. So similar to those social icons that are up here in the About Me section right here. So similar to these, I can go down here and do the same thing, just like that. I think that looks pretty good. All right, and so that is the contact form right there. We can click Update to save our work. And by the way, you can also change the settings for this contact form. So if we go back to WP Forms and we go to All Forms, instead of clicking on Add New, so you can, of course, always click Add New right here. But under the simple contact form, you can go ahead and click on Edit. And so now we're in the simple contact form. You could change the name if you want to. Remember, you just click on it and it'll take you straight to the settings. Well, under the settings tab, we can go down to notifications. And so this right here is shortcode, of course, so it's telling the computer to do something. Now remember when we were setting up our WordPress and HostGator account, we were able to put in an admin email. That's why I was telling you it was really important to put in like the business email that you're going to be checking specifically for this business. That just make sure it's not like a personal email, because then you're going to get spammed with tons and tons of requests. So you want to kind of keep those separate. But if you put in the admin email right there where I told you at the beginning of the course, now it's automatically going to go ahead and select it right here. Okay, and then after your admin email, you can always change the email subject. So instead of it saying new entry simple contact form, you could say something like contact form from create a portfolio, or you could say new entry from create a pro portfolio, or something like that, that tells you in the email subject what this is going to be and who it's from. And so that's just more of a preference for you, how you want those emails to come into your email. But that way, it's fully customizable there. So then we can also change the from name. So vlogger, we would obviously change to create a pro portfolio, just like that. The from email, it's going to say it's coming from the same admin email. So it's basically sending from me to me, essentially. But that's totally fine because the email is coming from your website. And then let's go ahead and actually enter in a subject. So something like that. So let's go ahead and click on save just to save our work. Close out of this guy. And so back on Elementor, let's go ahead and preview our work. And I'm also going to actually send myself an email just to show you guys. So preview. All right. And so we've got the motion effects on point. Looks great. Scroll through. And then here's my contact section. And so I can put in. Interesting. So as I'm editing, as I'm typing in my stuff for the contact form, I just realized that this form is not correct. So it says to enter in a subject, but this field is actually an email field. So let's go ahead and change that really fast. We'll go back to the dashboard, WP Forms, All Forms. Under the simple contact form, we're going to go ahead and click on Edit. And then for the subject form, it's actually an email form. So as you can see, it's like an email confirmation. So what I'm going to do is actually delete this one. And then if you wanted to have a subject part, you could. So you would just put in like paragraph text or something, or single line text. And this would be something included in here. But for now, I'm just going to leave that out. So then I'm going to go ahead and close the tab and refresh this page. Scroll all the way to the bottom, and perfect. So let's try this again. And hello there. Send a message. Perfect. And just like that, it says, thanks for contacting us. We'll be in touch with you shortly. So it automatically puts that there. And now if we go up and check our email, all right, and then now that we're in our email, usually it goes to the spam. Yeah, here it is. It usually goes to the spam folder at first, and so you have to mark it not as spam. But here we are. So it comes from me right now because this is my admin email. But then you'll see that it's a new entry portfolio site contact. And then when you click on it, you can say, this is not phishing. So you would want to allow it. But now we've got the name is Levi, email was example email, and there is my hello there comment or message. And so this is where people would tell you like, hey, I want to get started working with you or something like that. So that definitely works. Go ahead and close out of this guy as well. All right, so scroll up to the top. And now that we're done editing the homepage, we can go ahead and move on to the 8th and final step, which is to make sure that your website has mobile responsiveness. Okay, so what mobile responsiveness is if you were to pull up this website on a smaller screen like a smartphone or a tablet, how is the website going to compress and shrink down to fit onto that small screen? And so Elementor is usually going to do a pretty good job about automatically compressing your data into that smaller screen. But we always want to double check that it does look correct before we were to publish the site. So the way that we do that is we just go over here to the responsive mode, right next to the preview changes, and we go to mobile. And so as you can see, it's going to compress my entire website. So let's scroll up to the top. It looks like it compressed my name a little bit. We'll just go ahead and scroll through the whole website. These compressed nicely. I think that looks good. And then the About Me section definitely needs some help. The contact section, or this part of the About section, looks fantastic. My image is just randomly over here on the street, but you know what? I don't mind it because it actually looks like I'm standing in that city, which is kind of cool. And then the awards and achievements looks fine. Now this intersection with all the logos, we could actually just center up, and so we'll do that in a second. Featured videos needs to be shrunk down. The gallery looks good. The Instagram would probably look good, but I'd have to hit the preview changes. We'll do that in a second. And then the contact section, which the contact form looks great. Perfect. So let's go ahead and make those changes now. So for the Levi Hagen part, I'm going to go ahead and click on it. Now, most of the changes you make in the mobile version aren't going to affect the desktop version, which is a really cool feature about Elementor too. So when we change the size of this text, it shouldn't change on the desktop version. And so the way that we know that it's not going to affect the desktop version is you would see, for instance, this right here, this little mobile symbol. So if I were to change the alignment right now, I know that it's only affecting the mobile version. But for instance, the HTML tag or the size or something like that, if I were to change this, it would change on the desktop version. So it does make some things kind of easy. For instance, this title section, I can go to the Style tab, and typography doesn't have the smartphone icon right here, but I do know for a fact that it doesn't change the desktop version when I change the size. So I'm going to do that right now and just make it like about that big. Back to the Content tab, I'm going to make it centered. And that'll only affect the mobile version. So if I were to go back right now to the desktop version, everything's still the same. It's really big and it's over here on the left. But on the mobile version, it's centered and small. So that looks great. I could also, if I wanted to, affect the position of this image, but to be honest, I don't mind the fact that it's off screen. Doesn't really bother me, and I don't have to work with it. So we can also change those if you want to. I think that's fine. The About Me part, I can go ahead and change the size as well. So we'll go down to the title size. Change About Me to be that big. Back to the Content tab, and let's change the alignment to center. All right, and so in order to actually fix this, well, let's first check and see if there's any Yep, there is padding. So let's go ahead and just remove the padding. And it should center it out, which it didn't look like it did. That's why. So it actually made the box full width, so now we can center the image, which is good. So we'll just choose the center option for each of these. Perfect. And so that's how you fix that section. Scroll down and we've got the featured videos section, and so all we got to do is shrink that text and center it. So I'm going to center it first just while I'm here, and then go to typography and shrink it. So there's my featured videos section, and I will let it double up this time because I think it looks a little bit better. And then I've got my videos here, and I've got the big main button, and then the rest of them are small. That's fine. Visit my channel. The gallery looks perfect, and then my Instagram is compressed, and my contact form. Wow, I think it looks great. Update and save. All right, everybody, let's take one last preview of the website just for fun. So the motion effects look great. Everything slides in really cool. Very responsive. I like that. Oops, scrolled a little too fast there. Video section, photo section, Instagram section, and contact section. Now, I just realized there's one last thing that we forgot to do, and that was to hook up these buttons. And that's a really easy fix. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Which also shows that it's really important to make sure you always review your work, because you're going to forget something. All right. So for the About section, that's already done. The featured videos section, I'm just going to go ahead and click on the 6 dots right here. Go to the Advanced tab. And under CSS ID, right now it's Vlog, because that's what the section used to be. So I'm just going to change it to Videos. Because if you remember, that's what I typed up in the button up top. So now if I scroll down more, this is my photo section. So I'll go ahead and edit these 6 dots, Advanced, and change this to Photos. Scroll down, And then for my Instagram section, edit the 6 dots. CSS ID is Instagram. And then my contact section should be fine. So let's click update. And we're going to preview the changes one final time. And let's make sure that all the buttons work. So we've got the hero section, click about me. Takes me to the about section. Videos, shows me the video section. Photos, takes me to the photo section. Instagram goes all the way down. And then if they want to go straight to contact, looks fantastic. What a beautiful site. All right, guys, that was my tutorial to create a personal portfolio website. I hope you are all able to follow along and build the perfect site for your business. Be sure to check out the rest of the channel for more tutorials and supplemental information regarding anything from securing your website to migrating hosts or to finding the perfect theme for your project. Our goal for each tutorial is to be your one-stop shop for web design, so check us out. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.